Hello learners, welcome to chapter 3 of Operation Management. This chapter we will talk about the process design. The nature and purpose of the design activity. Before we go for actually in the ideally there in the process there are three steps, right? From the input process, transformation process, and output. But inside the transformation process, each product, each organization has the different idea or has a different steps or process that they it can that each process is suitable for each different organization or product. So before we proceed of production, we have to know how are we going to design the process, how are we going to design the flow of the process from resource to finished product and deliver to the customers. Right. So the product and service and the processes which produce them all have to be designed before the production. It is the first thing that you have to it has to be thought before you start a business, even the service business. Right. Decision taking during the design of a product or service will have an impact on the decision, of course, because this design will impact on the cost, speed, quality, remember, dependability, and reliable of the product. So these ideas will affect to the product itself and also to affect to your organization. Okay. Product and these services should be designed in such a way that they can be created effectively. This one is very important. Of course, when you design a process, you would design as best as you can, as effectively as you can. You won't design a process that ruin or costly for your product or less quality, effect to the less quality of your product, right? So you have to design it effectively. Okay. So product and service design has an impact. It has an impact to the process on the process design, and also vice versa. Processes should be designed so they can create all product and services operated or which the operation is likely to introduce. Okay. Different process type, like when you want to produce a telephone or a mobile like this, there are maybe more than 10 ways to produce it. It might start from a case or a camera like here, or a monitor like this at the front, or even the start from a volume. How it depends on how are you going to design the process. Okay, that's only one of the production design. But how about the organization? Some organization produce the mobile from the sales forecast. They forecast it, right, like that they want to produce like 1 million units of the mobile. But another organization might produce a phone upon on request, upon on order, or we call pre-order. So in that one, they might produce they might wait for the order from the customers, like up to suppose up to 1,000 units, and then they back to when the order reaches 1,000 pieces units, they send the order to the production, and the production order to the resource, to the supplier to supply the resource. See, this is another way round of production design and also its effect to the organization. Okay. Process types are definitely defined by the volumes and variety of the item they process. Of course, it's effect to if you have more variety or you have more volume. That also depends on how should you uh, plan or design the process. If you produce 100,000 pieces of unit of this mobile, of course the production must be uh, bigger than a production of 1,000 units, right? So that's different. Prototype go by different names depending on whether they produce product or service. That's it. Okay, here manufacturing process type. There are two things that two axes that I want you to concern. First is variety, high and low, and also volume, low and high. So it depends on, like, if you produce a high variety but with low volume, it's called project, right? While you produce less high on the variety and more low on the volume, it's called jobbing. Also batch, mass production, and continuous. Continuous, you might have low variety but have high volume because you produce it on continuously all the time, right? So it's difficult for you to change for the more variety. But of course, for the volume, you can produce in higher volume than the other than the other process type. Okay. Project process. So here the project process is one of complex and large scale or high work content product, especially made like consultation or uh, a road to be made or a building to be made. Okay, so I want you to go through the meaning of each type of the manufacturing of the production. Okay, here also jobbing process, batch process, mass processes, and also continuous processes. For the high volume in Thailand nowadays, not nowadays, I would say during about 30 years to 20 to 30 years ago, in Thailand, most of the product, not only in Thailand but in the world, most of the, I would say most of the product in the world tried to go for continuous processes because they try to build more volume in order to reduce the cost, or we call economy of scales. So in that case, we can or they can produce lots of products in high volume with the low cost. Okay, but nowadays the thing changed because of customer satisfaction. This is the key, and also to reach customer satisfaction, they have to produce like different kind or different type of product, like fragrance. You might have one brand of fragrance, but you can have many fragrance, many model of the fragrance under one brand, like Christian Dior or Chanel. In Chanel, there are so many lines of the product lines that they produce different smell or fragrance or aroma that's to be matched to the different style or satisfaction of each customers. Okay. Service process time. For the service, in actually, the axes are still the same between variety and volume, but the difference is there are three types of the service process. It's a professional service, service job, and mass service. The idea is still quite similar to the product, but only the word or the between the what are we doing, the way that they process or produce are different. Okay, professional service like high level of customers, clients spend a considerable times in the service process like consultation, accounting, or business consultant. Service job is a medium level of volume of customers. Okay, our everything is in the medium level. While mass service, they are in high level of low volume, but in low or medium of the level of customer contact. Okay, so here deviating from the natural diagonal on the product process. Matrix has consequences for cost and flexibility. Cost and flexibility always are the key words for every operation management. Cost, we try to minimize the cost and also try to be more flexible. But most of the time, cost and flexibility are vice versa. You have to try to find the most suitable or match, the best match for your product and services. Okay. Here are the signs I want you to understand for each meaning of the sign of the signal, okay, or symbol. Here they are. Here you also. Okay, one thing for the higher level process map. This one I want to explain to you for the assembly require. Okay, for the assembly line, you can see here the bread and here is the bread or the sandwiches making. You have input for sandwich materials and customers order also forecast, right? When you in this process transformation process, you can see bread and like the fillings prepare, right? So then it is sent to the assemble host for the whole sandwich, and then filling, and then assemble from standard basic types, right? And then it goes to the store, and if it for the quality, right, for the standardize of the sandwiches, if it yes, then yes or no, then it depends on also require from the customers, and then it may, if it pass, then it goes to goes to the customers, next station to the customer, and the customer take it and pay it, right? And customer assemble to the sandwich. Okay, so here you are. Here it is shown that the process of sandwich making. Okay, customer, here is the new process that they design from that old process. Here the bread and the base filling, right? And then it goes to store base, right? And then use standard base. You can see it's different from the first one. The first one, the standard base is at the end, right? But here the standard base is at a second process or the third process. Then if no, they don't want the base, right? The base, right? They can go for it can go for assemble the whole sandwich and take the payment, right? Or yes, if they want the sandwich, then it can go to assemble from the standard base, right? Fill it and goes to take the payment for the customers. Okay, that's it. This chapter is very fast. So if you have any question that you don't understand, you please bring it to the class, and I will be very happy to discuss you in the class. See you in class.